In the first half of last year, Wu Haiku launched the Nanliangzhu V1, which was basically on the market at the time. During that time when Hui Muxing and Suhua's economics department were all fully occupied, although it's about the same now, it also offers everyone a different kind of choice. More than a year later, the Nanliangzhu V2 was finally launched. Let's take a look together. The exterior isn't exactly the same as the V1. You could say there's not much difference. Pink shell is semi-transparent. The pink shaft needs to shake. The current axle appearance of a square arm shaft by Wangzhou. This is indeed a must-have switch in this regard. A brief introduction to the specifications. The casing is made of customer-supplied POM material. That is, the captain himself somehow got this from somewhere. Then he gave it to Gayot to make it like this. Starting from Tier's axis. A 2mm axis forms a 3.6mm axis. There are two pressure options. 22mm single extension. The springs correspond to a 40G actuation and a 50G base contact with a 20mm dual touch. The spring corresponds to a 25-gram actuation and a 28-gram bottom touch spring. This is the ultimate light pressure trigger version. The video shows the usual version of 40 triggers with 50 bottoming out. In terms of sound, the air is dark and there's no unusual noise. The slight friction noise at the axis also lacks quality separation and noise. It doesn't have the crisp feel of Tang Mian, Tang reed tones, and the bottoming out. The common doji pivot overseas bottoming is still somewhat different. As for Linglong, those two contact points felt like ding ding ding. The cross-shaped axis, which feels more like a thump-thump, is crisp, but it's quite obvious. The sound of this distinct ghost alter is really loud, rather sharp. As a switch for feel, you definitely can't ask for too much. The sound on the full package isn't as unpleasant as you might imagine. With the underdesk electricity, heating, and a sliding pot cap, it's hard to say it sounds great. But compared to the mainstream Mahjong style, this is the cross-silver sound. There are still quite obvious differences. Let's listen together. The feel is the strength of this hand. First, compared to the V100, this is a new factory solution. The feel when starting up is truly excellent. There is no sticky texture at all, nor does it have the feel of high-quality separation. A clean and careless startup feel. After pressing it, it goes to the processed forming section. I didn't sense anything unusual about this method, including when talking about shrapnel. That little piece of film segment is also exaggeratedly weak. This is something very difficult to achieve in existing buildings. You could say it's a truly straightforward, down-to-the-bottom pressing feel. Even pressing from the corners doesn't make any obvious differences. In this square god arm switch that feels like a moving hand, he is also an outstanding figure. After adjusting the frame size of the upper rod and modifying the wafer, after walking deeply with a step, there is also a slight sense of pressure on the fingers when pressing the pivot. But it doesn't affect the switch gauge feel, it's both stable and smooth. This feeling is incredibly satisfying. The bottom hardness is a strong sense of missing and strong rebound. Very responsive. Overall, compared to the V1, the Nanliangzhu V2 is a significant upgrade. This precisely solves the feel of the startup, but it didn't have an excessive impact. Given the tactile power and output quality, this has partially enhanced the stability. Moreover, this shaft comes with a lighter pressure version, and it will be more expensive. Some people, it was reasonable. After all, it is very difficult to achieve this level of light pressure shaft. Although it tests this grand quality, the audience's grand quality is very good. This makes up for this light pressure. The switch is springy and not responsive. As a long-term Max-Z office switch, it's very suitable. The standard version is priced at 1.35 yuan per unit. The perfect pressure cleaner is 1.45 yuan per piece. So compared to the Wei edition, it's a bit more expensive. From the consumer's perspective, considering the experience, it's not unacceptable. After all, the upgrades are all the pain points of the Wei version. You could say that. So see you next time in this video on principles. Bye bye.